Hello readers, it's Sasha, and today I am going to be doing the History of My Bookshelf challenge that was created by Emma Books. So there are basically 26 questions that I need to answer based on my bookshelf. So I'm going to do that. I just reorganized my bookshelf to incorporate like the 16 different books that I've bought over the past few weeks. So yes, here we go. I'm pretty excited because I don't really know how this is gonna go. So I'm only going to be picking from the first 5 shelves on my bookshelves for the answers for these books because I do have kind of a miscellaneous shelf down on the bottom, and then the rest are Noah's books. So we're just gonna do mine. Question 1 is the oldest book on the bookshelf, so please hold while I figure that out. For this one, I'm going to go with I Hunt Killers by Barry Lyga. This has been on my bookshelf. I believe that this was published in 2014. This was published in 2012. The paperback version came out in 2013, and I got it when this came out, but I never actually read it yet. So I'm pretty sure this is the oldest book on my bookshelf. So the next question is to pick a book that I read in 2013. There's nothing on my Goodreads for 2013. So I'm gonna assume it was one of the books that I read. No, oh my god. Where did that go? When I was 14 in 2013, I read Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. This book, it lives in my head rent-free. I think about it all the time. It was probably one of the stupidest books I've ever read in my life, and I want to reread it so bad. Like, you all have no idea how much I want to reread this book just to feel the feelings. It was messy, but I did read this in 2013, I think. So, the next question is to pick a book that you read in 2014, and there is only one book on my Goodreads, so clearly I did really well at updating, but I do have that book still, so we're gonna use that. So the book that I read in 2014 was Insurgent for the Very First Time by Veronica Roth. This is the sequel to the Divergent series, which I can only assume I also probably read in 2013, maybe 2014, I don't really know. Yes, this is good. We're doing not great so far. Number 4 is to pick a book that you read in 2015. So I'm going to pick a book I read when I was 16 years old, and I'm trying to think about what that would be. So please hold again. So the book I'm going to choose is Angel Burn by L.A. Weatherly. I believe I read this in 11th grade when I was 16. So this is a book that I read in 2015. Next is to pick a book you read in 2016. This is not going well because I didn't use Goodreads at that point in my life. So 2016, finding a book I read. Please hold. So the book I'm going with is Bells by Jen Kalanita. This was literally made for 15-year-olds. I read it when I was 17, but I loved it a lot. It was really fun. It was just a really good, lighthearted, contemporary, super big writing. So it was very good. And I read it in what are we on? 16, 17, 16, I think. So the next question is to pick a book that you read in 2017. Girl, I don't know.
I'm so tired of being here.
In 2017, I read Immortal Beloved by Kate Tiernan. I read this my first year of university, which started in 2017. So we're gonna go with that. The next question is to pick a book that you read in 2018, and for this I am choosing The Beast Within by Serena Valentino. This is a very, very short book, and I believe it's part of her series that focuses on villains, and it focuses on the Beast and his origin story. It's literally 211 pages, but that's only because it's half the size of a normal book. So yes, I read this in 2018, and I know because Goodreads told me. I'm finally at a time where I started using Goodreads, so now I can check Goodreads. Swell. The next question is to pick a book that you read in 2019, and for this, I am picking Rebel Angels by Libba Bray. This is the second book in the Great and Terrible Beauty series. It has deckled edges. I don't know if you can tell. I think you can. But honestly, I loved this series a lot. I know a lot of people find it's one of her less interesting series, but I actually really, really enjoyed this series. And I did read it when I was in university, so if that's saying something, who knows? But yes, I read this last year. The next question is to pick a book I've read more than once, and for this, I'm going to go with Fablehaven by Brandon Mull. I actually just reread this in April or May, I think it was, and I had a really good time reading it. I read up to book 3, and I do actually really want to continue the series because I remember absolutely adoring the entire series when I was in junior high, so have to reread it and see if almost married Sasha enjoys it just as much. The next question is to pick a book that I waited over a year to be published. So I'm assuming a book that I read the first book and then I was waiting for forever for the next book to come out. Okay, so the answer I'm gonna go with is Devoted. Devoted by Hilary Duff. Okay, hear me out because I know you all probably think I'm literally cracked. This book, I read book 1, which was Elixir, and I literally was like, oh my god, like this book is phenomenal, 10 out of 10, would read again. I was like 12, so calm down. But then I didn't know Goodreads was a thing, so I didn't know I could just look up if there was another sequel, and I didn't really go to chapters all that much to get books, so I just kind of dealt with not having Devoted, which is the sequel. And then I found the second book and the third book in Walmart at the same time, like a year or two later. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I found it. I waited for so long and then it was in my hands. Such a trash series. Literally read it. It's so good. So the next question is to pick a book that you read on vacation or a book that you read away from home. I always read books while I'm away from my home at work, but I don't ever really read books on vacation. That isn't something I really started doing until very recently. So, oh my god. I'm actually completely lying to you. I finished a book when I was in Morocco almost a year ago now, back in 2019 in November, and it's If There Is No Tomorrow by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I was getting a little overwhelmed with Morocco and being outside because it was just so different than what I was used to, which is to be expected. I was just getting a little anxious, so we went back to the Riyadh that we were staying at, and I finished this book in like a sitting. It was so good. I loved it. So I did actually read this away from home. Perfect. The next question is a book that you got from someone special. So anything that isn't your local bookstore or local thrift store. Okay, I've got two options for this. I have The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider. This is the first book that Noah ever bought for me, and it helped me through a really hard time when I was sick in the hospital, so I love that. But also, I have this amazing gift that I was gifted through Amazon from a literal stranger, and that just is so incredible to me, and it's The Meaning of Birds by J. Robin Brown, and I really, really want to get to read this as well very soon. So these are two books that I will never be unhauling because they just mean so much to me, so yes. So the next question is to pick a book that made you cry, and for this I'm going to go with Flawed by Cecilia Ahern. I literally cried so hard at one part of this book. The way that she wrote it was really powerful, and I was pretty much sobbing on my couch. I loved this book. This is a very, very good book. Yes. Sequel, not so much, but it's fine. Next is to pick a book that I read in one sitting. So I'm gonna go over to Goodreads because I actually did it fairly recently. I read a book in one sitting, but for some reason, I cannot figure out what it was. Like, I literally cannot remember.
Putting so much on. Stop.
So the book I'm choosing is The Female of the Species by Mindy McInnes. I did read this for the vlog where I read Like a Tourist, and it was a lot of fun, and I'll link that down below. But yes, I did read that. I read it in one sitting. I think I might have read like a couple of pages like the day before, like maybe like a chapter or two, and then I just sat down and I read the entire book. So I'm definitely going to count it as reading one book in one sitting. Next is a book that was a gift. I have a lot of books that were gifts because a lot of the books that I receive are from my mom and my family from Christmas time. So I'm just trying to think of one that was a gift. I guess I will have to pick The Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King, and this was gifted to me by Shonda over at Skinny Books. I'll link her channel down below. We were supposed to be doing a book trade vlog kind of situation, but we didn't end up doing it. But we still sent each other books that we really enjoyed, and this is the one she sent me, and I sent her Angel Burn, which I talked a little bit about before. So yes. Next question is to pick a book that I read before owning, and I don't think I have any on my shelf because I've honestly just started reading Kindle books. I'll look, but okay, I don't have any. I always bought books physically, so yes. Next is a book you lent to somebody else, and I am a serial lender. I lend my books to literally anyone who asks me. I just write it down, and if they don't give it back to me, then they have to buy me a new one. So many answers for this one, but I decided to go with The City of Bones by, oh my god, by Cassandra Clare. I lent this to my older cousin like 4 or 5 years ago, and he really liked it. Next is a book that has been damaged. Aww. The dust jacket on this, Purple Hearts by Michael Grant. I've literally tried to make everyone read it, and in doing that, the dust jacket has got a few, I don't know if you can see them, but there's some tears up in the top, and it's got some like wear and tear here. But in terms of like actual damaged books, I don't really have any because I take very good care of my books. So yes. Next is to oh, hold on. So we had a slight interruption where we now have a guest hanging out with me.
A child.
He's just a chillin'. So, sorry if you hear him. So, the next question was, what is a book that I got on sale or discounted? And honestly, most of these books, because I love to go to thrift stores and get books. I don't like spending lots of money on books. So,
Wave. Yay! What's up, Mr. Bumblebee?
I'll just pick one that I bought like 2 days ago. The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. This is definitely like a stereotypical series I should have read in like junior high, but I really like those really easy books to read, so I just kind of decided to pick it up because I think it was $3, so perfect. Next is to pick a book that I read with someone else. I really could have chosen any of the ones that Noah and I did for Book Corner, but I ended up going with Agnes at the End of the World just because she also lives in our head rent-free all the time. So yes, I read this with Noah. I'll link that Book Corner down below. And yeah, so this is the buddy read. Next is to pick a book that you associate with a song, and I don't know. I don't think I have any. I don't think I associate any books with songs. Is that weird? Like, is it normal to associate books with songs? I don't know. Okay, the next question is to pick a book that I associate with food, and this is another thing where I just like don't do that often. So maybe I'll pick this book, The Summer I Turned Pretty, because it looks like it had run-in with Kraft Dinner. The way that it is stained, it looks like Kraft Dinner or Cheesies, so I guess I'll associate The Summer I Turned Pretty with Kraft Dinner. Next is a book you got years ago but you probably wouldn't buy now, and honestly I have the perfect answer. I bought the entire series, the Soul Seeker series by Allison Noel, whatever. I would never buy this now. I don't read a lot of fantasy books now, so I would not buy this, but I'm still looking forward to reading it. It would probably go right over my radar if I was to look at it now. Next is to pick a book that you associate with a specific time in your life, and I'm gonna have to go with The Beginning of Everything by Robin Schneider, because there aren't many books that I associate with parts of my life, but this is definitely one. Next is pick a book you used to like but don't anymore. So when I first read it, I actually really liked Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell, which I have on my shelf, but I'm not going to show it because it's not worth it. But after further reflection and after reading about other people's, specifically Own Voices readers' reviews, and kind of like reflecting and growing up, I've realized that it's literally just not it. Like, no, that book was trash. I'm doing an end of the year unhaul and she will be in it. I hated it. It was absolutely not the book that I want to associate with anything I've done. So I used to like it, but I don't anymore.
Step back, I think I'm gonna vomit!
Finally, the last question is to pick the newest book on my bookshelf. And I bought a book today. I bought With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. I am obsessed with the covers on her hardcover books. Like, I'm obsessed. So I definitely wanted to own one, and this just spoke to me. I was so excited. So I absolutely adore this. So that is it. That is all I have for you guys today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I do post twice a week. Hopefully, life is crazy right now, so you never know. But yes, thank you for tuning in, and I'm not going to tag anybody to do this, but it's a really fun challenge to try to challenge yourself to remember when you read certain books. So by all means, do this because it's kind of fun. Anyways, until next time, bye readers!